Good morning. Hello. It's been, I don't know, 10 weeks since we've done this, and it's good to be back. We've had a lot of changes, but we are back at the Total Pile podcast. I'm Tyler Courtney. This is my co host, Brock.
Hello, hello, hello.
They teed it up. Like, we didn't miss a beat, dude. Honestly, teed it up. We're just here to talk poke. The new season has started. Worlds is over. There's so much change and excitement, and we still have one more week before rotation. Or I guess before Stellar Crown becomes legal, unfortunately. So lots going on. Real quick, we're gonna start off with a brief Worlds recap. We haven't talked since Worlds actually happened. It was taken down by Iron Thorns, and I always say his name wrong. Fernando Cifuentes won the entire event. We're not going to dive into all the ins and outs of it. I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of what happened at Worlds, but it's just, congrats to him. It's super cool to see Pokemon grow like that. Just have a world champion is such a big honor. Did you see that he got invited to like the president of Chile's like house or whatever it was?
Yeah, I did not see that, but it didn't surprise me. Like,
Yeah.
when, what was it, 2 years ago, or, yeah, London Worlds, that guy got, like, not paraded around, but, like, it was a really big deal in his country, too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like I think I heard it on a different podcast, but like I couldn't see it happening in America, but like
Yeah.
somewhere like Chile or wherever. I mean, hey, maybe it'd be cool one day to go see the White House if you become a world champion. But I don't think that would happen.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
but I have hope. If I become a world champion, I hope I get invited to the White House. Totally matter to me if who
I
the pre.
guarantee you if, like, especially, like, where we live, if we won Worlds, we'd probably be in, like, the local paper, maybe, like, go get to see, like,
The local paper. Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I'm
the
not upset
like
about it.
the what's it, the Capitol building and stuff, like Capitol building and stuff,
Depending
like
on the
in
state you're in,
yeah, for sure.
it could work out.
Because it'd definitely probably be a bigger deal in like some of the state, like some at least some of like the states that we're from compared to like New York or California or something.
Sure. I mean, it just all shows the game's growing though. So like, we're not gonna
For
say
sure.
it's not. Like one day, it could possibly a thing.
Maybe, yeah,
I think an esports team will have to be first if that makes sense.
for
Yeah,
sure. Like
like if like
Valorant
or League of Legends or something like that. That makes more sense to me. Happening
or
first.
something like that would definitely be before us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, couple major things I wanted to point out that actually this is the same format as the regional we're spending most of the time talking about. Definitely some of the stuff carried over. Very evident. Just one touching subject. Rory Moon's back. It's fine. Rory Moon is totally back. I don't want to hear anything about it. I might just play it for the whole year. I haven't decided yet, but I'm only going to like 3 events. I might play it at every event and just call it a day. It's the moon. Um, Anyway, but the main fun things we can talk about from Worlds is the announcements. Real quick, we'll talk about the new locations. Nothing crazy with that. I do hate that it's double California, even though I'm probably not going to either of them. It just feels weird having it in the same state twice. Any thoughts on California, Brock?
I'm just glad it's in the continental United States.
That is, yeah. One day I
I don't really
will.
I don't really care where it's at. Like it just makes it so much easier because like the juniors that I coach were coming, like their parents had to spend like multiple thousands of dollars to get there when like flights there, uh, flights to the California is like it's still gonna be like $600, but it's like 600 compared to like 1,000 a ticket.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I still think an EU one would have been nice in one of the slots. We obviously knew 2026 was like
The
rumored
only
prior.
I was about to say the only place in EU realistically that can hold us would be the London Convention Center, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to do
With
the London Convention Center and like
EUIC.
international,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
EUIC in the same place because that's the only place currently that can hold both of us for like the price tag that they're willing to pay. Like there's places in Germany and like places like that, but like the price tags on them are crazy.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how, because we have like the realistic number and how much smaller Worlds is, and obviously I think they pre-booked 25 and 26, so like it wouldn't affect it then before they decided to change the Worlds format and invite structure. But like I think this does open up more spots for Worlds to be in, which we didn't think about when we talked about the structure changes. But like because Worlds is smaller now, you could probably host it in that event center in Germany that you do.
Kind of.
And we'll see.
I
I don't know.
believe that they want it to be more of a spectator thing
Oh, for sure.
than it being that. So like I don't think it matters like if the player base is smaller because like the thing is with the player base is like you should think every player is bringing at least two people with them on
Yeah,
average.
with the spectator passes are given, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's just interesting to think about. I was hoping
for
for
sure.
at least one EU type of thing, maybe China because they're new to the thing. Obviously, that's very hard for a lot of people to get to, but like with them just being new to the game,
We
it'd be
can't in
sick.
China. They have gambling
Ever?
laws against it.
Oh,
We
that
can't. They have gambling
stinks.
laws. Because like Chinese players don't get cash money; they get prizing. That's why they have all the cool
That's why I
prizing.
have all the cool artworks and stuff and new ones.
Yep.
Those new Pokemon Go arts are sick. Anyway, so that's the least exciting of the world's announcements. Um, what I'm most excited about, and thanks to PokeBeach for posting an article about it, is trainer Pokemon are returning, which we haven't had this. I might be wrong in saying this, but since like SP Pokemon, technically, I think I'm correct in saying that. Like the Diamond and Pearl era with the Garchomp C level X and the gym leaders Turtwig, and they didn't even have names on them though, but they just had pictures of the character. Do you remember those?
Yeah, and we did have some that had the actual name with them,
Yeah, obviously, like we had
like
like Gym
before, like
Challenge,
no,
like
no,
prior.
like during that era also you had some
Oh, did we really?
because like those were the SP ones were like the Elite Four technically,
Pokemon card. Yeah, I mean, like I'm the big one stands out as Cynthia's
and then
Garchomp and
before you had like just that
Volkner's.
like Aaron whatever. Not
Yeah,
exactly, but yes, yeah, something like that. There weren't many, but yeah, I want to say we have had some, but like I want to say they were just like promo cards that weren't for play.
yeah, like
I think that's what I'm thinking of. I think they were like jumbo cards
yeah, and there was
that
some.
like I'm
There was a
thinking of.
one. There was like Lance's Charizard
I
in
think that's what I'm
the
thinking of.
Pokemon
Like cards.
collection, but it
Yeah,
was never like
yeah,
legal to play.
yeah. I think
Uh,
that's what I'm thinking of. I don't think we've had actual legal cards.
yeah, and the thing we're talking about as well is like with Luxray and Cynthia. I think
Yeah.
Gardenia's Turtwig might be the one of them. But like they just had the GL. They didn't have like the trainer's name in it. They had the trainer's
Maybe that's what
picture.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
because
It had
like
the little trainer picture on the right hand side.
yeah, I pulled it up real
Yeah.
fast. Yeah, so like Luxray is the perfect example. It just said Luxray GL level X and Luxray GL, but it had a picture of Volkner on the side of the right and the XP logo on the left. So that's the last time I can remember. Even like evil teams haven't had cards in a long time. We had Team Flare Grunt cards, but like and like Team Yell's Cheer and stuff like that, but no Pokemon specifically named after that. And this is
Yeah.
exactly what we're getting. And the main ones are that released were Lily's Clefairy, Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and then N has a Zoroark and Reshiram. Which the biggest thing that I love about this is that they're all from a different generation of Pokemon. And so, like N is Gen 5, Lily's Gen 7,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Marnie's 8. And so it literally is like it's limitless at this point. I'd hate to do like paraphrase on that, but like it's literally could be any Pokemon ever used. Like I was hoping it'd be more centralized around X and Y, but that's literally the only generation that didn't get announced. So like that's the only one that didn't get a Pokemon in this reveal.
Yeah.
which is But then again, we also have
The sad thing
the
about that
Legends game.
is like the X and Y was such a short. The X and Y was such a short like era of Pokemon, like in card game and in like anime and in the video game, because like X and Y was one of the few games where we only got one game
Yeah, I mean, like then it was black and
or two.
white.
We had X and Y, but
Oh
and Black and
well,
White
I know,
2.
I get what you're saying. So yeah, they had and they
Yeah,
also interrupted it in between. So they did a black and white to X and Y, then Sun and Moon, and then Ultra Sun and Moon. So they didn't repeat
yeah.
anything. I think it was I don't even know the reason why for that, but obviously I think they might be holding it
What I
off.
was told was like yeah, game was hard to make
It was the first 3DS game
with
for sure.
yes. So it was very hard like to make from what I was told.
And and that's cool
But
too.
that's
But
all speculation.
we're also going back to it here with Legends ZA. So I think they might chill
Yeah.
out on it a bit. But they did tease a couple cards that weren't released. So like I said, they released Lily's Clefairy, Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and then Ann's Reshiram, and then Enzorark, which all of them look fantastic. The artwork is incredible on every single one of them. They also teased an Arven card, Arven's Mastiff. I don't remember the Psyduck teaser or the Ethan's Pichu teaser, but that also would be interesting because they've never done a protagonist card, I don't think. Like, I don't remember having a Red's Charizard or. I mean, I don't think they did Gary any cards either, to be honest. Do you remember if Gary had any cards? I know Brock and like
Gary?
or I guess it'd be Blue in the video game. But like, I don't remember that. Like, there's never been a protagonist that you play as a character, right? It's like normally red, gold, silver, whatever.
Think so.
I remember one.
Not that I remember, but like the thing is like I think they tried to stay away from that because in the video games he was Blue, but in the anime he was Gary. So it was like, which name are you going based off of?
And so like with Ethan's Pichu potentially being teased in that video, it's very interesting to see how that works out. Because then now this could be a red.
Probably they're just going to use Ethan's instead of.
Because I couldn't tell you what the guys were called in Diamond and Pearl, or what the. Obviously, there's May and Ruby Sapphire. Like, what's the guy's name for the protagonist?
I know it. I forgot it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it really
like I see his face.
And so this led to the question
because it's not just platinum.
No, it's not. There's no way it's platinum. Like, I don't think it's platinum or diamond or pearl is his name.
No. Like he has a name.
But this led to an interesting conversation between Brock and I on thinking of our top 3 trainer Pokemon we'd like to see. And I don't care how we want. I can just read all 6 of them if you want. We can do every other. We can do the first 3, however you want to do it, Brock.
I mean, you go through yours and I'll go through mine.
Yeah, okay. So I went through 3. I tried to pick 1 from each generation, and then I also tried to pick 1 of each different role. So obviously, like we saw, N's a villain, Marnie's your rival, Lily's antagonist here. So I thought it'd be very cool because I don't think we have any Professor Pokemon either. So my first one is obviously just a classic gym leader type one, and this is Raihan. Raihan's probably the coolest design gym leader I've seen in a long time from Sword and Shield, and he has a Flygon. I can't remember the last time we've had a good Flygon card, and I pray for a good Flygon card for every set. I just hope there's a good Flygon, and I hope they don't make a Mega one.
2012.
Maybe even prior to that. I can't remember playing with Flygon before Flygon Level X, because there was that one that had like the sand trap, Trapinch, and the arena trap. Long time ago. Flygon's not been relevant for a long time, and it needs to be.
There was a really good expanded Flygon deck.
I think I remember that. And then the next one, I technically changed it to a Alolan Ninetales. But Professor Kukui is a champion of Sun and Moon before you beat him in the Elite Four. He also has an Incineroar. So like I wanted to be either the do you remember Mask Royale? Do you remember playing Sun and Moon?
Yep.
Dude, I hope it's a Lucha Libre, like specific art wrestling Kukui, and Incineroar, but we just got Incineroar Incineroar EX in Obsidian Flames. So I don't think they'll reprint it that soon. And it's teased that it's going to be one of the starters in Z
You could make
slash
it
A.
dark.
You could make it dark, but I think Alolan Ninetales hasn't had a card since Sun and Moon, and it's very popular. So if they're gonna do one like that, I think it would be Alolan Ninetales. And then my last one is Lysander's Pyroar. I feel like this is such a waste that no one's ever made this before or a cool artwork with it. They match so well. Like Pyroar needs a good card. There used to be one that like turned off abilities or something like that. There was a decent one.
There's a really good one in expanded slash 2014.
Yeah, long time
It
ago.
won nationals that year.
And it hasn't had a good card since. You could do the female or the male version. Like it's one of those cool, just I guess gender specific like designs that way. There's not a lot of in Pokemon anymore. It seems like, but the lions are sick. Pyroar is sick. I think Cubfu is sick. Or no, it's Litleo. Cubfu's the
Litleo.
yeah. Litleo is the basic. Cubfu's the Urshifu. Yeah. Right. We should swap names for sure. Anyways, but yeah, Lysander's Pyroar would be sick. And you go ahead, Brock, you up? Hit him at it.
So I did it a little different. I did my favorite Pokemon's Torchic, so I did Maze Torchic. We got a promo card for it back when the Ruby and Sapphire games first came out. But like something with like Maze Torchic to Maze Combustion to Maze Blaziken could be really, really cool. And actually make a relevant Blaziken card since 2004. That'd be really nice.
Hey, don't. No, hey, wait a minute. That's disrespectful to the VMAX, bro. Okay. The VMAX.
I said what I said. And then Brock Steelix. We had a Brock's Onyx back in the day, but we never got a Brock Steelix. And it could be a really cool, like, kind of like a Copperaja, like a really big tank Pokemon that like an earthquake effect similar to that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then I said probably the hardest Pokemon to get through in Gen 5, which was Ghetsis' Hydreigon. Like
that'd be super
that cool. would just be super cool. And like we had a really good Hydreigon in Gen 5, so to be able to bring that back would be really cool.
It was the Dark Rain Dance, right?
Yeah, it was Dark Rain Dance.
Yeah, it was the Dark Energy Rain Dance. I totally forgot that card.
It was like the only stage 2 that was relevant during that era.
Yeah.
Just because you could set up like 7 Darkrai's.
And it still had we had the Night Spear Darkrai. Did we have a Did we have an
You didn't have the other one.
No, we didn't have the energy per.
You just had the Night Spear.
Dark Energy. Yeah, that's great. I didn't even think about that. I had a couple honorable mentions, but they seemed kind of lame at the time. They could do Irida and Adamant from Legends Arceus, but they only had evolutions, which seemed odd, just as a game design. Or you could do like a Volo thing. I don't know if they'll include Legends Arceus stuff. Be kind of cool.
I don't think that's on their timeline. I think it's like I think that's what, like an alternate reality type thing.
Technically, but then again, like it's the TCG. They can do whatever they want.
Oh yeah, I mean we have it in the TCG.
And the main thing that teased I will know this is a 2-set type of gimmick because they teased Team Rocket set at the end of the video.
I think we're gonna have 3.
So I hope it's 3. I love stuff like this. This is my favorite stuff to deal with. And then I hope they haven't done it yet. There's been a Rockets Mewtwo. I hope we get a Giovanni's Mewtwo and he has like the full armor on from the movie. That would be that's the dream.
You.
I would be so sick because that's Giovanni's Mewtwo. I think you do play it. You could, or maybe you could. I didn't play the old video games, but you could play it. And he had it as a gym Pokemon when he was like the leader of a gym, but it was like he had the armor on, I think. And I might be wrong in saying that, but I've seen it before somewhere. But if you give me a Mewtwo with the full armor on...
I think it was a mod.
It might be a mod. But if you give me the full armor Mewtwo, I'm in, dude. I could not be more ecstatic about a full armor Mewtwo. That'd be incredible. So that's basically all the world stuff. Congrats to Fernando for winning, and then shout out Jesse Parker for being the normal guy who grinds to the top. Love that. And then Roy Moon. Any shout outs from Worlds you want to give out in general? Like any thoughts on the event? I love the new layout. That's cool. Anything else you want to cover from Worlds in general? It's okay to say no if you don't want to. Brock.
Um,
There you go.
it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, Worlds kind of was dominated. So whenever you're looking at these world results, just remember these are the best players in the world that are playing these decks. So the percentages are always going to be quite different going from this tournament into Baltimore, and I very much took that into account when deciding what deck I was playing in Baltimore. That was the only thing.
Yeah, and it seems like the online meta really, I don't know if it dictated it, but definitely like Iron Thorns and like um all this stuff. Like obviously it was like Iron Thorns is still a stally type of whatever deck, but like it just seemed like it was very open still, no matter what. Anyway, so like I knew going in Baltimore would look a lot differently, but like for a lot of people like who may not track a lot of these tournaments may not know, but like it definitely wasn't going to be an Iron Thorns dominated event. If that's anything to
No,
say.
it was never
Um,
like
um,
I yeah.
yeah, I'm just happy to see some of the cool guys make it in. Like a Goldango made D2 at Worlds, Roaring Moon's back. Like Maridon did well. Like we even have like there's still 17 Lugia still in Day 2 of Worlds, which is crazy. And so that
I
leads
played him in
into
day two.
you did play him in Day 2.
No, no, no. I played against the highest placing Gold Angle player. I played him in day two of Baltimore.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, so let's I don't know. Let's great segue. Let's just hop into Baltimore. So Brock got to go, and Brock actually got. We're in Day 2, so let's get the tournament recap. Brock, let's get it.
Yeah, let me pull up
I got the list on
like
screen. I don't know if you
matches
remember or
and
not.
stuff. Yeah, no, I remember.
I mean, I might just steal this from my cup
S-
this weekend. To be honest.
you should,
I,
as long as you don't have too much Iron Thorns or Reggie Drago, because we kind of took a weird matchup into those two. Uh,
yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of cups.
so basically, the funniest thing about this tournament, leading up to it, like literally up until the last week, I was gonna be playing Ancient Box. Like I was dead set on it. Me and my testing group were like, "Hey, Ancient Box looks really good. Post Worlds, all these, basically everything." We played an extra boss and we played two great tests to help with the Reggie Drago matchup. So we were like, "Okay, this is it." And you look at the online meta, and the online meta has um, Charizard everywhere, and Charizard with Hero's Cape. And I'm sitting in Discord with my buddy, and I'm like, I don't think we can play Ancient Box into this and expect to do well. Not with the list that we had. So I day 2'd with Charizard last year, with last format. And I said, okay, how does Charizard change now? And of course, you have the Dusknoir line. Of course, you have all the new pieces. I was like, okay, let's put some time into this. So we decided on Charizard like the night before or the week before the event, like Tuesday before the week. And we were still playing the double turbo energy. We weren't playing Inte yet. We were still playing the Hero's Cape. So there was a few changes from the final list. And leading up to the event, we're like, okay, the mana fee seems awful in the list. Because like into the Regidrago matchup, you're kind of already praying that you hit double Buddy Buddy Botfin, but like then they just go canceling clone and wipe your 3 anyways. So we didn't like the mana fee. It was kind of one of those things where we knew we were going to be taking a worse Regidrago matchup if we cut it, and then we're like, what's an aggressive card that can help with the Regidrago matchup? So we decided to play the Entei instead. And the Entei also has the counterpoint to where it's really good early in the mirror, really good early into Lugia, and if you can be able to pull it off against Raging Bolt, it allows you to be the aggressor into the Raging Bolt matchup because it allows you to take the first two without them ever taking a prize card, without setting up your Duskull either. Because you can do the Duskull and the Dusclops play. And then we basically decided that Cleffa was actually really needed because you don't always want to put Rotom down because you can keep the one prize board state, force them to take one, and then you're so far ahead because they're never going to be able to go 2-2-2, and you just don't pop your Noir at that point. But like that's pretty much the only weird things. We played the Night Stretcher, which was a little different. We played the Thornton because we liked the opportunity to play more aggressive. Even though probably you run back the tournament, we're cutting the Turo for a second Duskull, but that's kind of besides the point. But going into matchups, actually, my first 2 rounds were against 2 of my locals.
Oh, it's terrible.
Bro, it was I hit my buddy Udish round 1, and I'm like, bro, like really?
Yeah,
You
it's
just left. I was
ah,
like, okay, whatever.
that
And he
stinks.
was playing Bayonet, and I found out very quickly I do not beat Bayonet.
No, items are good in Charizard. Items are good.
Exactly.
Items are
Uh,
good.
and then round 2, I played against Lugia, which was a pretty standard 2-0. He drew very bad. He missed Lugia turn 1 both games. And I was able to go Dusknoir, Countercatcher, Pop, and kill his only Lugia turn 2. So he was just too far behind to win. And then round 3, actually, the dude 2-0'd me and then said he had a job interview to go to the next day and conceded to me.
What a guy.
I was
Ooh.
like, bro,
All
it
right.
was crazy. I was like, and at that moment, I was like, bro, I'm 2-4 on the day.
Technically.
Like, technically,
Technically.
I'm 2-1 like in matches, but I'm like I'm 2-4 in games.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, whatever. And then I played the Zardmir and I 2-0'd them. The dude just kind of drew a little awkward. He forced me to go first both games, and I just kind of said double Buddy Poff and Nest Ball for Rotom and set up the full board going first.
That is
And when you do
nice.
that, like the game's over. Like you're hoping by telling them to go first that they don't get a Buddy Poffin or they only get one Buddy Poffin and you can kind of capitalize from there. But if you get double Buddy Poffin and Nest Ball to see the Rotom, it's over. Like it's not even close. And then I played Bolt, which was Gibby Archer Tang. And game 1, it was a pretty close game, but the Entei with the Hero's Cape kind of sealed it because he couldn't deal with both that and my Charizard. Just 330 HP on 2 different things is just impossible to deal with when he was like just a little slow on the start. And the game 2, he just went Iron Bundle Pass.
Nice.
Nice. And me going first, and I set up a Mander and just donked him.
Yeah.
And then
round
yes. And then round 6, I played against Poltzard. And I won 2-1, and that was probably my best game of the day. It was just very close. It was just a lot of I'm having to manipulate the board and just like had to outplay him. And he was a decent player, but it was just one of those where it's like I felt very good after I won because I won that game.
Right.
And then the next round I played Alex Shemansky playing this really weird Darkrai EX Darkrai
shout out my hero
star
Alex
box.
Shemansky, dude.
I played him, and he was a pleasure to play against, but that list had me tilted because I didn't know what I was doing.
It was so cool. I watched it on stream. I don't know if you knew this or not. He played against on stream.
It was right after me.
He literally played against Lost Box Dragapult on stream. I died. I was like, this is incredible.
That's crazy. Yeah, he played on stream right after he played me.
That's incredible. Anyways.
And then I played against Miraidon, and this was probably the funniest match all day because my opponent basically set up this like really big wide board game 1 and said, well, if I don't win this game, I don't deserve to win this. And I'm just laughing to myself because I'm like, buddy, I don't think you're gonna win this. Because I basically just set up 2 Zards and I set up a hero caped Radzard on the bench. and I had an Entei with my Force Hailstone attached, so no matter what he did, like I had game on board.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't kill my Zard, then I can just return KO with my Zard. But if he doesn't, I can just boss for game. Because he had a big charm on the Miraidon.
Right.
So it's like I had him in checkmate, and he was pissed at himself. But it was cool. And then my final round, I played against Bolt, and the Entei put in so much work against him. He took the first knockout onto my Charizard, and basically promoted a Mander, or no, I promoted a Pidgey, Thorntoned into an Entei that I discarded that same turn and attached energy and counter catchered up a Ogerpon while setting up a Charizard behind. Um, and it just like sealed game one, and then game two he prized 3 lightning energies and couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Um, so I finished day one 7-2. I have I have 3 or 4 other day twos, but this one felt like I actually earned this one. This one felt very good for just me. Like I felt like I played very well throughout the day. Only had a few misplays here and there, but I felt very good on the day. Um, and the fact there was only 129 of us going into day two compared to like 300 and something, it felt felt very nice comparatively. And then starting off day two, I played against Brent Tonneson, #1 player in the world last year. And it was a Zardmere. It was very close. Game two, I top decked balls for game. And then game three, we gentleman agreement to where basically whoever was ahead on prizes would win. And he pretty much had me on a checkmate board where he could take the last 2 prizes, but I went ahead and gave it to him, which I think he would have won anyways. But yeah. And then the next round, I played against Big Moon, and I beat that very easily. It's really hard for Big Moon to beat Charizard when they're actually drawing decent. And that one win put me out of 129th, which means I would have missed out on top 128 prizing and top 128 points, which was like the big thing on the day to just not go 0-4.
Oh, that's crazy. There's literally one extra. I
Yep.
didn't notice that.
Yep. That was like the
so-
big, like, of course you want to do as well as you can on the day,
Sure.
but like the goal was
There's
just
gonna be
not be
one guy
120.
the one guy in day two is gonna get nothing.
So like that was the big thing.
Sorry, Thomas. That's terrible. Oh,
And then I played against Cameron Kawasaki, who was the 39th player, 39th place at Worlds with Goldango, and he was playing Goldango again. And I got 2-0'd by him. I drew very awkward, and like he set up the Palkia and Rad Ninja to where like I had to make a big Zard, or I just lost the game immediately, or I was like another turn behind. So I was like I had to just make a big Zard, and I had no hand the rest of the game. So it sucked, but it was what it was. And then I played against Isaiah Williams the last round playing Reggie Drago. And game one, he was just able to like outpace me. Like I owned him to 1, and he basically drew to 6, and then I owned himself, and he drew exactly Radzard energy to win. So that kind of sucked. And then the second game I could have won, but I like zoned in on the wrong play. I could have counter catchered up his Reggie Drago that had no energies on it for game and just passed and decked him out. I didn't see the line at the time, but we would have gentleman agreement the last game anyways, and most likely he would have won, but should have played to that out, but it was what it was. So I finished 118th out of 129 in day 2, and then 118 out of 2400 overall.
yeah, overall solid event, and like super cool just to break the ice on the new format type of thing. And congrats to you on pulling that off. And like and this is what I was talking about. Like your last round, like you said, was against Isaiah Williams. He ended up finishing 66th based off that. Like that's the crazy.
Basically,
It's like 60 spaces separates one game difference.
well, even look at cash prizing. There were people that had, like Cameron Kawasaki finished 39th and missed money, even though he had 30 match points.
Well, and that's what I was going to talk about too, is because like the main one that I saw on Twitter, and this makes me seem kind of a homer, which I kind of am. Sorry if I moved away from the way. This kind of makes me seem kind of a homer here, but like JW Kreewall had a winning in to asymmetrical cut, and or I guess top cut, however you want to word it, and because he lost that winning in, he dropped all the way down to 33rd, which is crazy. I don't know. I think someone's got to be 33rd, but like for it to be a guy who was playing in a winning in scenario to then get dropped all the way down to 33rd is absolutely outlandish to me. I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. I don't think there's a way you can. Just because
well, you fix about adding more rounds, but then that unfixes what they were trying to fix.
Correct, right?
Initially.
And like it feels bad on both sides of the coin. But a lot of cool decks, a lot of cool Pokemon. You did mention the one, I think the most interesting deck of the entire tournament that was very strange, in my opinion, was the Quad Cornerstone Noivern EX deck. I think this thing only loses to Moon potentially, but even then, like Noivern's still annoying because it has mist energy.
It loses to Lugia too,
and probably loses to Lugia pretty easily. But then again, like doesn't everything? I guess Minccino doesn't, huh? And Chinchino.
Yeah, so like you just basically rotate between your you just set up rats.
You just set up rats. Yeah, Lugia would be pretty good into this. But other than that, like this is super cool. Not sure who created it. There's multiple.
It's been roaming for a little bit.
Yeah,
like I heard about it before the
top placing one was what? I think I see it one. Oh, the top 8, yeah, and Nolan Randall with playing it in 6th. Other than that, it's very similar to Worlds in a way, except for Lugia actually came through, in my opinion. And I think that's because of the lack.
You had a lot of very good players playing Lugia this event.
Yeah, Kieran's on it. Raul played it again after his Worlds run.
I'm pretty sure you had Bradner and all playing it too.
I'm not for sure if he did or not. Overall, though, my favorite deck of the entire event, one of them is Szymanski's Darkrai box. But this list that got, let me see here. I think it's 9th. Yeah, the Palkia Dusknoir list with a 1/1 Greninja EX. Did you see this? This is.
You're talking about Yes, I did see that.
I love this. I played Palkia V-Star Dusknoir just for fun at locals last weekend, and it's
about craft and roll.
Yeah, it's just a great overall fun deck to play. I love the Pokestop Night Stretcher engine. I think it's so clever, and the fact that he squeezed in a 1/1 Greninja EX line made it that much cooler. It just does for me, and without him even knowing it, I don't think anyway he predicted it. Maybe I'm just speaking out of turn here. Greninja literally fixes that terrible Noivern Cornerstone Mask matchup that he would have had, because his only attackers prior to that are Palkia and Blood Moon.
You just Dusknoir it twice.
Yeah, but like if he's got 4 Cornerstone Masks, like you can't just Dusknoir twice the entire time.
Also, Mew EX gets around it
because you're just copying their shred attack. I still don't think that's fun though. But like you just rare candy, Greninja attach water energy Shinobi Blade until the game's over, then you just win. Yeah. Like that's just instantly is way more fun and more creative. Obviously, there's ways, like you said, there is ways around it, but I would have never thought of playing Greninja EX in this deck, and
I wouldn't have either. But you start thinking about it, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because this is like a big combo deck, so just being able to search your deck for another card every turn.
Oh, it's crazy.
It makes sense, like when you just start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Not that I would have ever figured this shit out.
No, I want to know what it looked like trying to get to that point in time that Greninja was.
Well, it definitely just looks like It definitely just looks like they cut a skull and a Nor from like the typical decks.
I'd have to pull one out of my bag to see. I literally
Definitely.
just I copied a list on Twitter just randomly and just played it for fun
Yeah.
because obviously live is already in Stellar Crown, so like I had just pulled it off Twitter and called it a day. Um, I think 312 is what I was into. I think he cut a stop, or
Probably
maybe
a trekking
or
shoe.
maybe a shoe, or yeah, maybe it was one dust skull and one shoe.
Shoe.
I can't remember if I played 3 or 4 stops. But either way, like I don't think he loses any consistency for the majority of the deck. Like one checking shoes, I it's fine. You can cut that whatever you want. That's cool. I don't mind it. Um, but I saw this guy play in the winning in on stream, and I was like, this is the coolest creation I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's so cool to see him make asymmetrical cut / make it as far as he did in the day two. Because I don't know how that works. Do you know? This is part of the new system that freaks me out. Did he make it
What
to
do you
the
mean?
9th spot of the winning in? Or was he just the highest ranking person who lost an asymmetrical cut?
Him and Jeremy Gibson were
They made it the
asymmetrical.
furthest in the asymmetrical cut that wasn't top 8.
No, they were asymmetrical.
Right, they were.
So they lost their asymmetrical game.
Okay, so they're the highest ranking out of the first losers of asymmetrical cut.
Well, they were the only losers, but yes.
Oh, because I thought the cut was the 16. Or is it only 12?
No, it's based on who has the same record.
Correct. I just can't remember. That's what I'm saying. I can't remember how many people made that record because there's no
It
records
was
on
just
Limitless.
it was just 10.
It was just 10. Okay.
Yeah,
So then,
Graft and Rolls played against Steven Verasco. Ian Robb played against Jeremy Gibson. Ian won, and then Graft and Roll lost to Steven.
Yeah,
so
that would be
Steven won
awkward.
that spot. Steven won that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, Lugia might be a weird matchup there too. For Palkia. I'm trying to think of it in my head.
Palkia also just loses to itself.
Sometimes I mean in a 2 or 3 format, that's the benefit of it. But like, yeah, sometimes it just does. I had that experience versus a Turbo Moon, and I also lost to the Loyal 3.
That's sad.
It was awesome.
The issue with it is like most of the time you're trading 1-for-1s, so you're trading your Dusknoir into. They take a prize, you take a prize, and you always have to put at least two prizers down. So if you pop your Nor twice, yeah, you get 2 prize cards, they get 2 prize cards, but then if they can blow up your Palkia or one of your setup Pokemon, you just lose.
Yeah, right, 100%.
So it's like that's why the deck just does not seem very good to me. Like I think the surprise factor of it definitely helps it, but like I just don't see it being very great.
Yeah, nope. I fully get that.
Like long term.
No, well, for sure, no. I get it. I'm just saying. I think honestly, I don't know if it's even possible. We'll talk Stellar Crown here briefly here in a second, but like I don't see how you fit Dusknoir, Palkia, Turtle, Greninja, all this stuff into one deck to make it efficient. Obviously, it does gain Area 0. I just don't know if the Dusknoir version is going to be the best one moving forward. But obviously Palkia will be around for at least the next. I would say how
6 months.
6 months. There you go. That's a good way to put it. 6 months. So we'll see. I think it just shows how powerful all these V-Star cards are. Like there's Lugia, Palkia, Darkrai, Regidrago. I think every V-Star that's had a deck besides Dialga made day 2. Which is crazy. Oh, Tina didn't make a day 2 today.
No.
Arceus did.
Tina there too.
Arceus did make a day 2. I think Tina's the only one that missed out.
Armarouge.
I saw that.
There's an Arc Armarouge.
There's also an Arceus Dusknoir without Armarouge.
That deck's actually pretty decent.
That's crazy too. Lot of cool stuff.
Did Standard Lost Box make it? There's a Lost Box Dragapult.
Lost Box Dragapult did make it. We talked about him beating Shemansky on stream.
There's a Sablezard that made it.
Yeah, I was just before my time in an ASC. This guy made day 2 in Baltimore with almost an identical list. I'm actually upset. It's close. I think I played like 2 cards difference.
There's a cloth that made it.
Yeah, dude, Cloth is sick. Um, where'd it go? It was down there, wasn't it? Or was it up there? Anyways, a lot of cool decks in day 2. Cloth didn't make it. I still think my favorite's Darkrai Dusknoir. Just because, like, even in that deck he played, it was still just a Roaring Moon deck, but it had Darkrai in it. You know what I mean? Like, I think at max, Darkrai could hit for 180. I don't know if you saw that or not. The deck only plays seven. The deck only plays
He
7
doesn't
dark
attack with
energy.
Darkrai.
Yeah, I know. It's only for the V Star ability. But like it, even if you wanted to attack with Darkrai, it only could top out at
So
210.
Darkrai can just kill. Like Alex did attack with me or attack into me with a Darkrai to kill like the little stuff because 2 energies on it does kill like
Most of the
basic.
format, yeah. But every Charmander, every Manaphy, every whatever small basic,
Pidgey stuff like that.
all you need is one Sada or attach Dark Patch plus an energy already on the bench, and it knocks out.
No, just the 2 on itself.
No, I know, but say you wanted to mark out a Charmeleon or something with 90 HP or like whatever. Like you could have 3
Sure.
in play and do the 120, right? It's 30 times. Or it's 30 plus. So
It's
yeah,
30
it's 30.
plus 30.
Yeah, so it'd be 120 for 3 energies. So you can almost knock out anything you wanted for 3 energies, which is kind of cool. But um anyways, I still think that's the coolest day. I might play this just for fun at my cup on Saturday. Um, yeah, super cool tournament. I think it seemed well ran stream wise. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. A lot of
The tournament itself was awful.
yeah, I heard there's a lot of the chairs were weird and there was a
Bad
bathroom.
judge calls.
There's a bathroom incident in a chair that I saw. There's a lot of weird stuff, but the main surprise, we didn't even talk about the winner, is Henry Chow with this weird Gardevoir list. It's playing like the 4 rare candies. It's playing Turbo Energy. It's playing the Evolution and a Headquarters. It was the last thing that I predicted to do well in this tournament was Gardevoir. But it wins the whole thing. I mean, it just kind of farmed Lugia, it seemed like. Obviously, Gardevoir is very favored into Lugia with all the single prizers. And you can't knock out a Gardevoir with Lugia.
Yeah.
Like,
From like so I've played a lot of Guardy and then I built this morning because I was gonna take this to the cup this weekend. Basically this deck just puts on so much pressure into like its quote unquote bad matchups. Like you're getting 6 energies in the discard like turn 2 or 3. Because of the researches, because of the secret box, stuff like that.
yeah.
The deck is just so fast. It's very much like last format's Guardy, to where it's like you go rare candy Guardy, and you say deal with my Guardies, like
Yeah, because you're swinging for 190 on turn 2 on most scenarios.
Yeah.
He was skipping Curlias to attack with Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Which we'd never seen prior to Brainwave or Shiny Arcana rotating.
Yeah. So also he like how he's dealing with Regidrago is it's really hard for Regidrago to make another Regidrago immediately if you just kill its Regidrago. So he was just basically saying Drifloon, Bravery Charm, 5 energies, kill your Regidrago. Can you make another one? If you can make another one, I lose. But if you can't make another one, then I win.
Yeah, and even like you could even do it with Gardevoir as well if you wanted to, because you could do the 190 plus the Adrenabrain with Monkey Dory. I don't know if he ever did that or not, but that gets the 220 on a turn 2 if you're going first, which I assumed he would go first.
You go second.
But even into Drago.
Yeah. Oh, in the Drago, you might go first.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the Drago matchup specifically.
You blind second.
Yeah, I think you blind. Yeah, I think you still have to blind second because you want to get the Evo play off. But if you know you're playing against a Drago deck, We might have to test that out. See if going first is okay.
Well,
I would say it's worse.
Charizard wants to go first.
Oh,
Charizard wants to go
yeah,
first.
yeah.
So
But
it's
just
like in the same logic, this wants to go first.
oh, I guess I get what you're saying. It's Charizard that wants to go first into Drago the same way Gardevoir would
Yeah.
want to. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Same with Lugia.
pop a secret
You can't get
box.
punished for going first.
Yeah, especially against with Drago, you can't get punished going first. Um, yeah, super cool list. I haven't tried it out yet. Obviously, like we said, Stellar Crown is live. Shout out Kieran from the Shift Gear podcast. I met him at NAIC. Super cool guy. Play Lugia. A lot, like you said, a lot of good players on Lugia. Nothing crazy on it. I think he could have won, or maybe I said the way around. I think the Moon player could have won in top 4, potentially, but either way. And then a Moon versus Gardevoir final is way different. But overall, super fun. Great event. One more week until Stellar Crown is live in person, which kind of stinks. So please look at the results going into your cups. Don't be playing Stellar Crown cards in your decks. And that'll be a great segue. I mean, I think that puts a wrap on Baltimore. Any last closing thoughts on Baltimore?
The city was fun, even though everybody was saying it was weird. I had a good time with the group.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been to Baltimore. Last time I've been to the East Coast was to Delaware, which is like an hour from Baltimore.
I will say for anybody going to Louisville, I'm pretty sure this is the same group that's running all of our events this year. The judges are not the same ones that have been throughout the past few years. So be very careful and always remember you can appeal to head judge.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not tracking that stuff, but like it's good to know. I always remember the process, know the rule book. Very good tips overall in general. Can't say a bad thing about that. Let's see here. Where did I go? I went the wrong way. Real quick, we'll close it with some excitement. New cards, new stuff, new format starts in a week. How has your Stellar Crown stuff been going? How's the overall shakeup going for you?
I don't think it changes that much. There's not very many cards that are actually good from this set.
Yeah.
There's a few, but there's really nothing that really changes anything. I mean, there's some, but like I think that all the turtle decks are all bait.
Bait, bro, what? Come on,
I don't
turtle power,
Yeah, they're
dude.
not. Yeah. Um and then I think Charizard's very good. I think Dragapult has some cool/cute things it can do now. I don't know how good it actually is, but like
Yeah.
there's at least a few things that it like adds. Um
Yeah, I'll touch on
I think
Dragapult real fast
Charizard
if
is
you want.
still in a
Like,
very good place.
yeah, I think Dragapult's actually. I don't say it's a lot better. Let's get this. I think it's now playable in the right meta.
Yes.
The ability to Arvin for your A spec to attack on turn 2 is extremely massive and makes the deck less. I don't want to say like not Pidgeot relevant. It's still very Pidgeot relevant in my opinion, or some type of search engine relevant. But the ability to get the crystal to attack instead of grabbing a Neo upper energy is super good. I love Dragapult. I'm a Dragapult stan. It's just really fun to play. I love air mailing. I love sniping damage and whatnot. So the crystal, the sparkling crystal, is the main thing that helps a ton. And then I think the most card that's been slept on is this Crispin card because it's essentially if your crystal's prize, you can just Crispin wow, that's way too similar. You could just Crispin for the 2 energies for that turn. Um, a lot of debate on if Dusknoir is needed in the deck. I'm just playing Halucha right now. Um, but I also love playing the wackiest version. So I don't know if I've showed you this yet. But I currently, my more fun way to play it is with Noctowl. I think Noctowl's broken. If decks can fit in a Noctowl line, they
Noctowl is
should.
very good.
Noctowl is fantastic. To your point earlier, I don't think any archetype changes are going to happen, but Noctowl itself is so good. So obviously, Dragapult's a Terra type. I do include one Cornerstone Mask just so I can nest ball for a Terra type and then Noctowl on turn 2. Because then that way I can Arven and Rare Candy off the Noctowl search. And it's busted. It's crazy. I don't think it'll be a great deck moving forward. I don't think I'm taking it to Ball or to Louisville, but I love Noctowl and any deck that has a Terra Pokemon. And if you can't fit one, just throw in a Cornerstone Mask. Half the decks can't attack Cornerstone anyway. Then you can just throw it in it or collapse Stadium it away anyway. But Noctowl, that's the biggest takeaway for me, is Noctowl is extremely broken in any deck. One thing I wanted to ask you.
I also think not. So, yeah.
Go for it. No, go for it. You say what you're going to say.
I was about to say this set is not very good on the Pokemon side of things. It's like we just have Turtle basically.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of trainers and there's a like support stuff that's actually like the Noctowl line's insanely good. The little bug.
The bug?
The lightning bug. Joltik. Joltik's actually very good. I know, like,
I was so confused.
Joltik's like no,
No,
I know it's like a 30 HP
nuts.
basic, but like 2 grass, 2 lightning on turn 2 just seems nuts. And that they don't have to go to 1; they can go to like however you like.
However you like. Yeah,
I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think Joltik's very good. I think it just does lose the Dragapult if you do play it. If you happen to have 2 or 3 down, you might just get
kind of. It's bait. Like
no,
that's the thing is
100%. It's bait.
It's one of the, it's the same thing with like the Cleffa. It's the same thing with like the Cleffa in that matchup. Like I learned this weekend, it's like because if they're or at least in the Charizard deck, but that's besides the point. Yeah, like I think there's a lot of cool tools. Like that it's just kind of one of those things. I don't think Crispin is as good as everyone thinks it is, but I do think Briar is going to change the format.
Yeah, I think Briar's very good. I think Crispin is good in specific decks, not as many decks as people think it is. Like Dragapult needs to play one Crispin because just to ensure
my
turn
logic
2 attack.
behind it. My logic behind it is like Crispin's good, yeah, sure. But the decks that want to play Crispin have to play Arven for the turn to be able to get all the pieces. That's my logic behind it. It's like it's gonna be very hard. Like Crispin's like a turn 4 card in Dragapult.
Yeah, correct. I'm playing at turn 4 because it's my setup of my second Dragapult or my third Dragapult. It's not ever going to be your turn 1 Dragon unless you just hit the absolute craziest of hands, right? Like, you could potentially Rare Candy, Dragapult, Crispin, only one EX in play. That potentially could happen. Odds are very slim, but like 99% of the time, you're either going to manually attach for your first Dragapult twice if you went first, and then, or you're going to Arven for Rare Candy, Crystal, or you already have a certain set of pieces in your hand, right? 90% of the time, your first Dragapult is the Crystal Dragapult. Like, for sure.
Yeah. I completely agree. So my only issue with Dragapult is not really an issue. It's just one of those things. It's like every time I play, like I put like 10 games in with Dragapult yesterday. Yeah. It was the Azul Dragapult, probably
with
something
the
similar to what you're playing
and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have it saved on live right now. I think I switched one boss and one counter. I think he was playing a 3-1 split. I played a 2-2 split. I like
Yeah. I
I
also agree with that. I
I
agree with that
I'll just
also.
send you my knocked out list. My knocked out list is way more fun. It's not good. It's not as good. It's not as consistent. Like you have to play a cornerstone
Yeah.
mask. Yeah, but it's way more fun. Anyway,
But like I'd rather just play Charizard. Every time that I do it, I'm like, why am I not just playing Charizard? I have checkmate on board if this Dragapult was a Charizard.
I
Like
I also feel the same way, but the
it's
opposite.
just
There's moments in time that are different, and it feels weird because I get what you're saying. There is some games versus Charizard, which I'm seeing all over the ladder, where I can't come back from it no matter what. But because of
yeah,
Briar and Iono itself, I am purposely not taking knockouts into some Charizard games to where I can Briar
yeah,
for the 4 price turn. And if you can't find that third Charizard to evolve your, or if they are smart enough player, right? This is obviously live ladder. It's very different than in person
yeah,
testing. If you're required to bench a third Pidgey or Cleffa still on your bench or whatever one prizer is there that is in Dragapult range, either with Dusknoir or with Hawlucha, and I can Briar that turn, then it's over. Because you're gonna get down to 2 prizes for whatever because you're just Charizard. You're gonna take out knockouts more aggressively on my support Pokemon, but if I just have it, I have it, and it feels that way in that matchup to me right now. And I don't know what separates it because like maybe if I'm playing Dusknoir, it's easier for Dragapult, but I just feel like it's so clunky with Dusknoir. It just makes me mad. Does that make sense?
yeah, for sure.
Because even on the Charizard side, if I could just get 2 Zards up and then Turo the first damage one and not bench a second one back down, I don't think Dragapult has a chance of winning
Exactly.
unless they're playing Devo. Which that could be the next step in the
Which
evolution.
they should be.
I hate
They
Devo.
should be.
It's a me thing. I hate Devo. If I have to play it, I don't know if I want to play the deck.
I also hate Devo.
Devo blows.
I
I don't
also
like
hate
it.
Devo.
It's not my thing.
But also it depends like how like going into Louisville, like if Dragapult's a deck that you're considering, like how many like this is something like that I don't think has you haven't played in enough majors to kind of understand like this aspect of it, and not an insult to you at all. Like how many realistically are you gonna play
How
to
many
like
Dragapult or
justify
how many
playing this card?
Devo cards?
Like
Devo.
Dragapult or Charizard, like Dragapult
No,
or
yeah,
Charizard.
that's the thing too. I think it's
Like if
only
you're playing playing Dragapult and it's like Dragapult might be 5% at Louisville,
yeah.
and that's giving it a lot of like grace and hype. Like if it's 5% and Charizard's 12,
Mm-hmm.
like that's 18%. So that's like you might play 2, might, but you might hit 0, and that's a dead card the whole day.
Yeah, it's just
Like
Ultra Ball fodder.
something I've learned, especially over the my last 2-day twos. The more cards that are good in every matchup will win you more games over aggregate, over
Yeah,
your tech cards.
for
I will
sure.
never play an enhanced hammer in my deck unless I auto lose to Lugia. I will not play a canceling clone in my deck ever because the chances of me hitting those like bad stall matchups that I'm probably gonna lose anyways are irrelevant. And like Manaphy, I will not play Manaphy unless there's multiple decks that can snipe my bench and I just auto lose to them.
Yeah,
Like they just like stuff like that just like will lose you more games than they will help you win over the whole 14 round tournament. Like yes, there's only 9 in day 1, but like you should be considering like the whole tournament as a whole
yeah,
instead of just the 9 rounds you play day 1.
yeah. And to that same point, like I even in the Charizard or even the Dragapult mirror, most of the basics have 70 HP anyway, besides Pidgey. So like you have to take multiple turns of Phantom Diving. Couldn't think of the attack name on separate Pokemon for Devo to even be worth it. Because you're already going to be down 2 or 3, maybe even 4 prizes before you Devo effectively.
Exactly.
And like you're only gonna take 2 prizes off that Devo unless you invest a third Phantom Dive to make it a 3 prize
The
turn.
Devo has to win you the game, basically.
Yeah, it's got to be your final 3 prizes for it to be effective. Which I'd much rather just slowly snipe a Rotom or whatever, something else that could add more value in the end game to make them play collapsed or make them do something that they don't want to do overall. Like if they have to turn over Charizard, that's
There
a
has to
bigger
be just
win
a
for
balance.
me than it is for them because then that energy's gone. They have to rod stuff back in. Stuff gets more clunkier. Long story short, Devo's not great in my opinion, but testing and whatnot might work. I know what for sure I'm not playing, and that's Zatu. I'm not playing Zatu. Stay away from Zatu with all your heart. Like Zatu is terrible. Don't ever do it.
I hate
Um,
Zatu.
we'll wrap this up real quick because we're almost at hour 10. But like, City League results are up. Their results are a little different because they have the Dragon Paradise set legal, but I think that's only
like,
the Terra Ball and Cerulege is really good. I love Cerulege. We'll talk about that in a different day. And I think Archaladon maybe might be I see one here winning a tournament on Archaladon, but I don't know how good that deck actually is. But for the most part, it's still the same format we're seeing now. Like Palkia Dustnor won a city league. Like I'm in, you know? like but yeah, Stellar Crown's here. It's really exciting. Good luck in the last weekend of Cups in this, what is it, Brilliant Stars to Shrouded Fable format.
Yeah.
Good luck in that. And hopefully we'll start testing and diving more deep into Stellar Crown next Wednesday by then. And then we'll have more of a realistic play because then the week after, or is it that weekend, I think there's a EU regional with Stellar Crown legal. I couldn't tell you which one it is though. It's like Dortmund, Lille. There's like
Might be
3 different
Dortmund.
possibilities. I just can't remember which European city it's in. There is a European regional or SPE with Stellar Crown legal. So this all could change in the matter of days, weeks. So
It's Dortmund.
Dortmund,
like 10 days from now. So
yeah,
not this
10
weekend,
days.
but
And
next weekend.
we'll talk about Dortmund going into next weekend and our thoughts on that. And obviously it's EU's first major tournament of the year. Obviously, like Tord and Brett Tonneson and a bunch of people came
Even
over
though
here.
all of them were at Baltimore.
Yeah, I saw that. And they all
everybody
did
from
very well.
everybody from Europe was here.
Everybody did really well too. It seems like maybe they're just better than us. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Also shove stall right up your rear. I'm not trying to talk about Snorlax at all in the next week and a half, and I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be upsetting. Brock, any closing thoughts?